Yeah.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Maniacal Mini. Our Thousand Suns project has been put on hold temporarily, so we are moving on to what, in my opinion, is one of the coolest looking miniatures I've ever painted. If you're painting along, the paints used will be flashed in the top left of the video, and for those of you who are just tuning in to hang out, I will be talking about some facts and general lore surrounding Mollog and Troggoths in general that you may not have known. So kick back, let's sling some paint, and talk about Mollog the Mighty. So in between these facts and lores, I will be talking about our paint scheme. The reason I chose a zenithal highlight here is because I want those deep, dark shadows to pop out when we lay down this Mongoose purple through the airbrush. We want to keep those shadows, and the transition between the purple and the black is going to look really, really cool once we're all done. The first Troggoth, the most common. For everyone has heard a tale of one attacking wary passerbys and travelers that wander too close to the fetid ruins of castles long destroyed, and bridges that rattle and creak underfoot. So I'm choosing to lay down Plaguebearer flesh over the boils and bubbles on the skin, just to give a color variation of the greenish brown against that purple. Should give a nice little pop to the flesh. Next is the Rockgut Troggoths. From recesses in the earth, these foul creatures bore tunnels by devouring the very heart's rock of the realm. Likened to stone-made animate, with thick hides to shake off and defend, pesky magic spells. The ability to manipulate the very stones that surround them, allowing for quick access to clubs and boulders to launch at an enemy unlucky enough to see one. So the reason I'm using a thinned down Flesh Terror Red, besides having used it in the cracks and crevices on the back, it allows you to give a lot more layers, which allows you to build up more and more as long as you start to focus on the outside edges and not the center. The Troggoths of the Swamps. Scaly, horrifically odorous, and covered with ooze. With standard fare talons and tusks, one might wonder why they are so tough, until they get a bath in caustic body. Able to eat through armor and down through the flesh and bones, sending any poor soul who lives into a state of sheer agony, making it easier for the fell-weather Troggoth to eat. Okay guys, so we're going to start bringing in some meat green into this Castellan green. We're going to start building up the highlights on this frog, so we're going to be focusing on the topmost parts. You might be able to see, but you want to focus going upwards because that's where the light's going to hit. That's where it's coming from on the light source on the rest of the model, so we want to make sure we follow that as well on the frog. So you should be able to see that here. We're going to keep going 50-50, and then eventually we're going to go right to 80-20 with new green. That should be the brightest, and then we're going to continue on from there. Over Mighty Mollog and fellow Dankholds for up to a 20-meter map. Fortunately for Dankholds, size isn't an issue. with the ability to shrink or expand to fit the spaces they occupy. A troggoth can wake up from their nap to find that they've grown several times larger or smaller. So we're actually going to be using Ushapti bone for two different things. This is going to be for the teeth right now. We are later going to come back and cover the fingernails on this as well. Once we come over the entire model with streak and grime, it should dirty up those fingernails. So I want it to be that white color so that I can have that dirtiness a little bit later on. Inhabit space. Mushrooms, stalagmites, puffballs begin to take shape on the dank, and even their favorite club. When the dankhold goes to battle, it is a sight to behold. With some as tall as small mountains, they easily lay waste to anything unfortunate enough to be in their path. To quote one of the cards in the Mollog set, facing a troggoth alone is a good way to get yourself killed. Facing a troggoth together is a good way to honor it. End quote. One of the reasons that the troggoth is such a terrifying thing is its ability to regenerate its flesh at tremendous speed. In some cases, swords can get stuck and stabbed, as the wound is already healed around it. A dankhold troggoth will gladly take the brunt of force in battle, buying its allies time to overrun enemies due to the concentration of fire it takes to bring down a troggoth. So XV88 is going to serve as the stems for iron mushrooms. I'm not too worried about a color variation on these. They are going to be covered up, obviously, by the bigger mushroom caps, so they're all in shadow anyway. So I figured that nice brown color can serve as that shadowy brown color. So we're going to lay that down now. This is where things are going to start getting a little fun. We're going to start playing with a lot of color variation and pops. So we have that Plague Bearer's flesh down over the entire giant cap. We're going to come in with a little Blood Angel's red and start to hit all the bumps on that mushroom. And that red and the green together are going to create an awesome looking pop. Especially later on when we cover that with streak and grime. It's going to map down those colors and they're going to blend together super well. Same thing with the Zaberlin Sunset going on with purple. It makes the entire difference in the world when you combine two different color variations like that onto one thing. You should get some really cool outcomes with it. Alright everybody, and we are going to be bringing in Fire Dragon Blight and Everland Sunset. It is a 50-50 mix then down. We are just going to start laying this down on the open hold little ball coral things that are growing on his club, just for a little bit more color variation, because once the streak and grime gets laid down, these colors are going to blend together really nicely, and we are going to get that awesome color pop that we're looking for. That's pretty much all across this model right now. So that is going to be it for me, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do not forget to hit the like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Happy painting.